Let's talk about one of the biggest, most important stories happening in the global economy right now, and that is the great reinvention of manufacturing. Now, this isn't just about sticking a few new robots on an assembly line. No. This is a complete, fundamental shift in how we make, well, just about everything.
And don't just take my word for it. The scale of this change is absolutely massive. The consulting firm EY calls it a seismic shift, and I think that's the perfect way to put it. This isn't some minor tremor. It's a full-blown earthquake that is completely reshaping the entire industrial landscape, and it's happening as we speak.
So what's causing this earthquake? Well, you could call it a perfect storm, really. Three huge forces are hitting the industry all at once. First up, you've got rising geopolitical tensions, which are pushing companies to bring their manufacturing closer to home, a trend called reshoring. Second, we've all felt this one, the absolute chaos in global supply chains. It's just become a constant, painful reality. And third, there's this whole new wave of digital competition that's totally blurring the lines between what we think of as a tech company and a manufacturing company.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. You can see the pressure cooker building in the numbers. According to the National Association of Manufacturers, a whopping 78% of industry leaders say that global trade uncertainty is their single biggest worry. You know, that level of anxiety, it's a powerful, powerful reason to make a change.
Okay, so that brings us to the first major piece of this reinvention, the tech response. Because when you're faced with a perfect storm like that, what do? You turn to technology. Manufacturers are building the factory of the future, what everyone is calling the smart factory.
Now, this revolution is really zeroing in on what's called discrete manufacturing. All that means is making individual, countable things, like a car, your phone, an airplane, basically anything that's built by putting distinct parts together. And that assembly process is exactly what's getting this massive digital overhaul.
And you better believe companies are putting their money where their mouth is. A recent survey found that 68%, more than 2/3, of industrial CEOs are actively increasing how much they're investing in digital tech. So they aren't just thinking about it, they are writing the checks to make this transformation happen. So where's all that cash going? Well, it's flowing right into the foundational pillars of these new smart factories. We're talking about next-generation automation hardware, super sophisticated data analytics powered by sensors everywhere, the incredible scale of cloud computing, the industrial Internet of Things that connects every single machine, and of course, the big one, artificial intelligence. And AI itself is already taking the next big leap. The next evolution is something called agentic AI. I want you to think beyond an AI that just automates one simple, repetitive task. This is AI that can actually reason, plan, and then take action on its own. It's like an AI that can automatically reorder parts because it senses a disruption in the supply chain, or one that can optimize the entire production schedule without any human telling it what to do. It's a game changer. So what's the real difference here? Let's break it down. A traditional factory, it relies on human-operated lines, and when something breaks, you react to it. The smart factory, on the other hand, is aiming for what's called lights-out production, meaning it can literally run with the lights off with minimal human supervision. And it uses closed-loop systems, where every process is connected and constantly feeding data back to improve itself. It doesn't just react to problems, it uses AI to predict them before they even happen. Now, all this amazing technology inevitably leads us to the second, and I'd argue the most important part of this whole story, the human response. With all this automation, all these smart systems, what on earth happens to the people who've been the absolute backbone of manufacturing for centuries? This is it. This is the central question that everybody asks, and it's a critical one. Are we just looking at a future where millions of human workers are replaced by robots? Well, the reality is actually a lot more nuanced and, frankly, a lot more optimistic than you might think. Let's look at the data from the World Economic Forum because it shows a really surprising picture. Yes, automation is projected to displace around 85 million jobs. That's a huge number. But it's also expected to create 97 million new ones. So do the math. The crucial number here is the net result. We're looking at a gain of 12 million jobs. So the real story isn't about job loss, it's about job transformation. And that transformation, well, that's where the real challenge lies. It isn't a lack of jobs, it's a potential mismatch of skills. In fact, a recent Deloitte survey found that over a third of manufacturing executives say their number one headache is figuring out how to equip their workers with the right skills for these new tech-heavy roles. So, what's the solution to that problem? It's a massive, proactive corporate upskilling movement. Instead of just replacing workers, the smartest companies are making these unprecedented investments to retrain and reskill their current employees for the jobs of tomorrow. And they're doing it right now. And the scale of this investment is it's mind-blowing. Just look at these numbers for a second. Amazon is pouring over $1 billion into free training for its people. Walmart launched its own billion-dollar initiative that gets rid of college degree requirements for most roles, focusing on skills instead. And Microsoft, their goal is to get 20 million people credentialed in AI. This is the fundamental change in how we think about workforce development. Okay, so beyond the tech and the people, there's a third really important layer to this reinvention, and that's the strategic response. This is about building businesses that aren't just efficient, but are also resilient and secure in this new, hyper-connected world. Because, with all this incredible new technology comes a huge new risk. Every single sensor, every robot, every connected system in that smart factory is a potential doorway for a cyber attack. Think about it. A single breach could bring an entire production line to a grinding, expensive halt.
So how do you secure these places? Well, it takes a serious multi-layer defense strategy. It means doing the technical stuff like segmenting your networks to contain a breach if it happens, and encrypting all of your data. But it also involves people, running regular security audits, and, this is critical, training your employees to be that first line of defense against threats like phishing attacks. So when you put all these different pieces together, the tech, the people, the strategy, you start to see a really clear picture of this great reinvention and what it means for the future of making things. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. We started with the problem, right? This perfect storm of geopolitical, supply chain, and competitive pressures. And the industry has responded in three major ways. First, technologically, with the rise of these incredible AI-powered smart factories. Second, on the human side, with a huge pivot toward upskilling the existing workforce, not replacing them. And third, strategically, with a brand new focus on building operations that are both resilient and cybersecure. Look, this whole transformation, it isn't some distant sci-fi prediction. It is happening right now, and it promises to bring more efficiency, more resilience, and incredible new opportunities. It's a reinvention that touches everything, from global trade all the way down to individual careers. So the final question isn't about if the factory of the future is coming. It's already here. The real question is, are we ready for it?